Hi everybody, my name is Oscar Barajas and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some homemade pumpkin bread. It is super quick and simple and hits the perfect spot during the fall season. Now every year on the very first day of fall, I always make 3 pumpkin breads, 1 for the house and 2 to deliver to some friends of mine. They absolutely love this bread. They say it's better than any pumpkin bread you're going to get at any coffee shop or any Starbucks. Now let's go over the ingredients so we could get started. You're going to need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, baking soda, and salt, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice. You could find this at the grocery store in the spice section, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 eggs, half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 16-ounce can of pumpkin puree. You have to make sure this is pumpkin puree and not pumpkin pie mix. I made that mistake before and the bread came out tasting really weird. And finally, 1.5 cups of sugar. We're going to start off by mixing in the dry ingredients first, except for the sugar. We're going to start off with the baking powder, baking soda, and salt, mixing it in with the flour, and then the pumpkin pie spice. Using a fork, we're going to thoroughly blend that together, making sure everything's well combined. Then we're going to set that off to the side. We'll come back to that later. And now we're going to move on to the wet ingredients. Starting in the large bowl, we're going to have our sugar and crack in our 2 eggs. And then we're going to pour in our teaspoon of vanilla. This vanilla is going to give the bread a nice, beautiful flavor. Our half a cup of vegetable oil is next. And finally, the star of the show, our pumpkin puree. Make sure you scrape off every little bit of pumpkin from that can. You don't want to leave anything behind. Now using a whisk, we're going to start off slowly. Combine all the ingredients inside the large bowl. Take your time. You don't want to make a mess in the kitchen. And this is what it's going to look like once everything is combined with the sugar. This alone has a very delicious flavor just by itself. Has a custard-like consistency. And now finally we could add in our dry ingredients. Using that same whisk we had earlier, you're going to start off slowly, combining all the ingredients, and this is what it's going to look like once everything is well combined. It's going to be a nice thick batter. Alright, now that we have a very smooth batter, we're going to pour this into a 9x5-inch loaf pan that's been greased, and I have a parchment paper on the bottom so it's nice and easy to take out when it's nice and baked. We make sure we smooth the surface, that way it cooks nice and evenly. Sometimes if you do this, it helps smooth out the batter, but I find that this works perfectly and it makes less noise. Alright, so now we're going to pop this into the oven that's been preheated at 350 degrees. You're going to keep it in there for 50 minutes. After 50 minutes, you're going to poke the center with a toothpick. If it comes out nice and clean, the bread is nicely baked. I'm going to get cleaned up and I'll see you once the bread is cooked. Alright, the bread has been baking for an hour and it's ready to go. So all I'm going to do right now is just slice over the sides right here so that the bread is easy to slide out of the pan. It's that simple. I'm putting it in a nice long plate. It's going to be simple as 1, 2, 3. Not really prepared today. 1, 2, and 3. Look at that. This right here on the edge is, in my opinion, the best part of the bread. Look at that. It's nicely baked in the center. It's best enjoyed when it's hot. And let's give it a taste. Probably a better idea if you wait first before taking a bite out of it after it's been in the oven for an hour, but very delicious, quick, simple. This goes really well with a nice cup of hot coffee. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure you try this recipe, you will not regret it.